Claude Code is really popular right now, and I've created tons of content on Claude Code as well. But in the last month or two, I found myself using Codex and the GPT models more and more. I find that I get more usage out of my plans, the models produce better results, and can solve way more complex problems. So in this video, I'm going to put Claude Code and Codex side by side and ask them to build the exact same app using the exact same workflow, and we'll compare the results against the following rubric. Now, of course, this is all based on my opinion, but I want you to let me know down in the comments which one of these models or providers you thought won each of these items. Now, to kick things off, I am going to take each of these agents through an actual agentic coding workflow. Now, one agentic coding workflow that I like to use is called the RAMP method. This is the actual workflow I use to build real software using a massive variety of coding agents, including super cheap and even free local models. I actually have a completely free course on RAMP. I'll link to this in the description of the video. To get started, I'll create a new session in Claude and in Codex, and I'll open each of these in their own folder. What we'll be building in this project is an AI automation control center. It's kind of like a lightweight version of N8N, Make.com, or Zapier, where we can manage business processes using some kind of automation. Now, the first step in the RAMP framework is to give our agents instructions. We're also going to see how well these agents do at following these instructions as well. So for Claude, we'll ask it, please add this to the claude.md file in the project folder. Always run your app on port 1234. I'm just doing this so that we don't run into some weird scenario where the agents try to use the exact same port for these apps. So let's just send both of these. And in fact, for Codex, it should have been agents.md. So I'm just going to send this. All right, cool. So both of these agents completed their work. Now, what I'm going to do now is create a new session. So that will ensure that we actually pull in all of these new rules. And now we're ready to start working on our app. So the first thing I want to do is just to have a look at my current usage and plan. So the difference is on Claude, the Max 20 plan is about $230, I believe. And on the Codex side, it's about $100 per month. In fact, perfect timing. Claude just reset the limit, so this is going to be relatively fair. And on Codex, we have about 99% left. So it should be interesting to just compare how much usage we get out of a $100 plan compared to Claude's $250 plan. Right, what I'm going to do now is switch over to planning mode for both of these. For the model, I'll go with Opus 4.8, and I do think that Opus 4.8 and GPT 5.5 is way more comparable. So let's go with extra high effort on Claude and extra high effort on Codex. Right, the second part of the RAMP framework is to augment the agent with additional capabilities, like skills or MCP tools. So I'll simply use skills.sh to install any skills that I think would be relevant to these agents. For example, the Vercel React best practices skill could be really useful since we will be using React in this project. So I'll simply say to the agents, please install the following skills for Claude Code. Then I'll simply provide the commands for all of these skills. So my recommendation is to install any skills based on the tech stack that you're trying to use. Then I'll provide the same list on the Codex side. Nice, so Codex was able to actually complete this first, and it installed all of these different skills. And you know what, for good measure, let's also add the Grow Me skill. Alright, so now that we've set up our agent for success by installing skills, it's time to plan out our actual app. So what I'll do is actually give both Codex and Claude Code the exact same prompt. Build AgentOps, a visual workflow automation builder. Basically a simplified, self-contained N8N. I want a canvas where I can drag nodes, connect them together, and arrange them into a flow. Then we just want a few basic nodes. And the AI node should call a real model through OpenRouter, and I'm also giving it the tech stack that I would like to use. And then I'll just end this with use the Grow Me skill. Now let's also set the mode to planning mode. Both of these agents did pull in the Grow Me skill, so I'll just answer these questions from Codex. Now for the most part, I'll go with the agent's recommendations, as I really want to see how good these agents are at, planning out these applications. And cool, Claude just created its implementation plan as well. So they took around about the same time. Claude might have taken a minute longer, but I can already tell you that Codex asked way more questions, like 5 times the amount of questions, and some of them were really technical and in-depth. So I just kept telling Codex to go with its own recommendation. All right, I'm not going to worry too much about the implementation plan. For both of these, what I'm going to do is switch back to auto mode or to change mode. So let's go out of planning mode. So for both of these, I'm just going to say, please save the plan in a /plans folder in the project root. I personally like to store these plans within the same project folder so that we can always refer back to it in the future. Right, Codex just saved the plan in the project folder. And by the way, if you ever wanted to see the files in the folder, both of these apps do allow you to do that. So here we can see our plan over here. And in Claude Code, we can do the same thing by going to Files. And this is a little bit concerning. So as you saw, I just asked Claude and Codex as well to simply store the plan in the project folder. Yet Claude decided to just actually ignore that, and it decided just to continue implementing the project irrespective, which is not what I wanted. So I'm definitely going to just stop Claude for a second, and that already is very concerning to me. Right, just in terms of my experience using planning mode and the agents asking clarifying questions, I definitely have to give the points to Codex here. It asked way more questions, like 5 times the amount of questions, and a lot of those questions were super relevant. It was asking a lot of technical questions as well. So if you are someone who really wants to drive the app's architecture, Codex would have been a way better fit for you. Right, let's jump into implementing the actual project. Now what I'll do is start a brand new session just to clear up the context window. And what I'll do to implement this project is to run the goal command. Both Codex and Claude Code support the goal command, which basically allows the agent to run for a very long time on super large and complex tasks, like the plan that we've just created. So for both of these, I'll just say, please implement the plan in the plans folder. Do not stop until everything has been implemented, verified, and tested. Let's send this. So I do want to mention that both Claude Code and Codex can be monitored remotely using your phone. Right, Claude is testing the app itself using its integrated browser. Both Claude Code and Codex have these little, built-in browsers that the agents can use to test the apps themselves. So this actually already looks really cool, just from what I can see in this little preview window. I know it's very small for you guys at the moment. If I try to enlarge this, this is starting to look like an N8N sort of canvas. So very, very cool. All right, the moment of truth. So Claude just completed its implementation using the goal command, and Codex is still busy. Now let's go ahead and actually test this. All right then, so we get this login screen. Let's see if we're able to sign up. I'll just enter my details. Let's click on sign up. And we're actually in. All right, so we've got one workflow over here. And look at that. That really does look like N8N. So I can click my mouse to move the canvas around. If I roll the mouse wheel, I can actually zoom into the canvas as well. We even have this map at the bottom to kind of, navigate the canvas over here. So this looks really cool. We can click on nodes and move them around as well. And when we click on nodes, we can see some of their configuration and their run output. So let's see what happens if we try to run this workflow. It's visually showing us which node is currently running. And cool. So this run just completed. We even get this nice visual feedback showing which path this workflow actually took. And if we have a look at like the run output, so this will show us what the trigger did. So this was the input into the trigger. And all this does is sentiment analysis. So it said, well, for the input, I love this product. It works perfectly. Then the AI model said that the sentiment was positive. So in this if-then node, we've got this operator that says that if the sentiment contains the value positive, then it will go down this true path. And then we've got this little template that will output something. So the final output was positive. I love this product. Cool. So we just built our own little N8N workflow. Let's just see if we can create a new one. So we'll start off with a little trigger node. Let's add our AI model. Let's hook this up. Let's say for the system prompt, write some sample Python code. So let's try to run this workflow. It's running our AI node, and this should actually use an actual model from OpenRouter. And if we have a look at the output, Here are some sample Python code examples covering different concepts. So we've got hello world. This is definitely not hard-coded. So this is definitely coming from OpenRouter. How cool is that? I'm very happy with the user interface. I noticed that the workflow is automatically saved as well. So yes, everything just seems to work. I'm very happy. Right, and Codex just completed as well. So it took like maybe 5 minutes longer. So let's see what this looks like. This is also using Shadsy and components. So unsurprisingly, it looks very similar to what Claude Code did. Let's create this account. All right, this looks slightly different. So this is starting us off with two examples. So a summarizer and an AI priority branch. And we've got this little form over here for creating a new workflow. Right, so let's start with the summarizer then. And this looks really cool. This has got that typical innate-in type of canvas feel to it. We can zoom in and out. We can center all the nodes. And we also have this option to lock the nodes so we can't actually accidentally move them around, which is something I don't think Claude added. Then we've got all of our basic nodes. We've got the workflow settings over here. And if we click on any of these nodes, we can see their details on the right and the run history. All right, so let's actually see if we can run this. This is just kind of giving us a little status, which doesn't look as nice as the Claude Code version, to be quite honest, but it does seem to work irrespective. And down here, we can see the output of this execution. So I'm not quite sure which one I like more. I'm leaning towards Claude Code's design a little bit more, to be honest, but it does feel to me like the Codex interface gives us a little bit more information. So I don't really know between these two. So this is what Claude came up with, and this is what Codex came up with. Which one would you choose? Which one do you think is visually more pleasing and also gives you more valuable sort of output? I would have to say that in terms of UI and UX polish, in this case, Claude definitely wins. And so as for file structure and architecture, let's actually just go to files on both of these. Since both of these apps are using Next.js, we would expect a very similar file structure. So we would have our node modules folder, and we have our source folder containing all of our Next.js files. Now, one thing that does stand out to me is on the Claude side, it added our database in the root of the project, which I'm not really a fan of. I do like the fact that Codex created a data folder and stored all of the database files neatly within this folder. I do think that Claude Code messed up by adding the favicon icon to the source folder and not to the... So that's a little bit of an issue. And Codex also added a not found page, so a 404 page for any routes that do not exist, which I do not see in Claude Code's implementation. Then I also think the lib folder is a little bit more organized on the Codex side than on Claude Code. So for architecture and file structure, I'll actually go with Codex, but it's not just about the file structure. I do think that the libraries that Codex installed, because of all of the questions that it asked during the planning phase, is a little bit more aligned with the production app. In terms of core feature completion, I kind of have to give it to both of them. I think both of these tools added exactly what I asked for. For testing and verification, I think I'm going to give both of these a draw as well. They both did a fantastic job of using the browser to test the app end to end, and both of these gave me a fully functional app straight out of the box. In terms of time and usage, both of these models finished at pretty much the same time, so there might have been a 5-minute difference, but basically it was a draw. Now in terms of costs, on the Claude Code side, I used about 8% of my current usage, and on the Codex side, I used about 16%. Now this is super important. Keep in mind that on the Claude Code side, I'm paying $250 for this 20x plan. On the Codex side, I'm only paying $100. So in terms of costs, I'm getting a lot more usage out of my Codex plan. This point definitely goes to Codex. Now for the maintainability challenge. Now this is the agent's ability to look at an existing code base, understand the core features, and then add new features on top of it. Right, so this is something like this. For the AI node, I don't want you to hardcode the model name anymore. When the user clicks on an AI node, they should be able to select from a pre-created list of models. I want you to do the research. Go to OpenRouter and pull down the latest models available from Anthropic and OpenAI and make those available to the AI node as a drop-down. And that is it. Both of these sessions are starting fresh. The model at the moment has no idea what the project is about. So it needs to discover the project, find what's going on with the AI node, go online, perform some research, and make the model selection available to our app. Right, both agents just finished, and Claude actually took a screenshot of the final result. And in both instances, they actually went online, did some research, and came up with a model list. So let's have a look. This is Claude's app. So let's just go into this workflow. Then let's go to this AI node. And now we do have a model selector. So we've got all of these Claude models and these GPT-5 models as well. It's interesting to see Fable 5 in this list, but let's actually try Opus just to see what's going to happen. I would be curious to see what's going to happen if we use Fable 5, which is currently actually not available. So let's run this workflow again. And this should actually fail because of the model not being available. Workflow actually failed correctly. It told us exactly which node failed, and we did get an error message explaining why it failed as well. Right, over to Codex. Let's just open the Summarizer workflow again. Now let's click on our Summarize AI node. So we've got all of the Claude models and the OpenAI models as well. What's interesting is that we actually have more options. We've got like Opus 4.8, and we also have access to the fast model, which was not available in Claude's version. So that is really interesting. But just to test this, I'll actually go with Claude Opus 4.8 fast. And funny enough, this actually failed. And it failed with the message saying that Claude Fable 5 is not available. So maybe we first have to save the workflow. I'm not quite sure. Let's try to run it again. This time it succeeded. Okay, fine. So we just had to save the workflow first. And we got our response back. So that's fine. We already tested the negative scenario as well. So I'm actually going to give the points here to Codex, simply because it did a better job at researching what models should be available and giving us all the different options between the fast and normal models. So this one goes to Codex. So I would like to hear your opinion in the comments. Claude definitely beats Codex when it comes to visual design. The GPT models have never really been known for creating, beautiful user interfaces, so Claude definitely wins in that regard. Both of these models are really good at following instructions and giving us applications that are feature complete. They're also really good at using testing tools for performing unit testing and testing the app using the actual browser. Now, one thing that stood out for me personally after using Codex for almost a month is that Codex is way cheaper. I get a lot more usage out of my $100 plan than I get out of my Claude's $250 plan. If you like this video, then hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more agentic coding content. Now go and build something lacquer.